Yo, didn't rehearse anything like this, but
No,
I'm Qua,
not Rhymes.
and it's podcasting time. Hey,
Bromagic.
Bromagic. Welcome everyone to the Bromagical podcast. I'm Qua, and that's Rhymes. Yeah, we're starting this new format. It's really unrehearsed, but it's more of a conversation between homies, and we also wanted to share some awesome things with you guys. So yeah, man. How are you doing? How are you? How are you, Rhymes?
Hi. As a human being, I am doing pretty well. I've got shelter. I am now sheltered here in Charlottesville, Virginia. I've been here for 3 years. Yeah, I don't think I've really shared that like public social media. So even if you were a fan of Quan Rhymes, and, even like a medium friend of mine, you probably might not know that I've been here for 3 years in Central Virginia and continuing to do product design, UX UI design here on the East Coast,
Yeah,
mid-Atlantic region. Yeah,
enjoying seasons.
enjoying the seasons. It does snow here once in a while. Spring and fall like last 2 weeks each. So yeah, it stops like being cold for like 2 weeks, and then it's oppressive heat and humidity. And then it's fall, which is 2 weeks, leaves change, and then it's just 30-20 degree weather, which is not that bad, compared to Midwest, where it gets into single digit negative degree weather. So,
But yeah, cool, man. Yeah, I'm still here in the San Francisco Bay Area, so yeah, we miss you for sure. Things have never been quite the same ever since you left. Yeah, we're not streaming live. I don't know if that's a thing that you want to do eventually, but we do like this live show with random internet viewers.
yeah, I think possible, doable. Like maybe do like a YouTube stream and just don't have it edited. Just
But I mean, that's what's really awesome about like streaming, like Twitch, though that platform you're hanging out with chat, like which is a live audience.
Mhm.
You're interacting with them, and even though it's like internet, if you are watching like a live show, say like a play, and something happens in that moment, and then it's gone because no one else is recording it. That's the power of live performance. Things just happen in the moment. You don't know. You can prepare, but it's just like improv. Just magic just happens,
Mhm.
and those moments are gone just like that, just as quick as they came. So, yeah, I don't know. That's in the future, but this is our first episode. Catching up. Do you have anything going on? Like any life things that you've been contemplating, working on?
I guess life things is thinking about buying a home here.
Doing
Um,
that.
because why not?
Yeah, I mean that's a big step if you can afford it. You're already paying rent. You have a
Yeah.
mortgage, but it really depends where you are. And so, like, I don't know how the market is in Virginia, but I can imagine it being doable, right? And that's what you're
more
thinking about.
do more doable than in the Bay Area. Um, like it's all relative, right? The locals here are like prices are, out of control, and like, what do you mean out of control? What's out of control for you guys? And it's like, can't buy a house for under $200,000 now. I'm like, you're telling me houses are $2,000 here? Okay.
2,000 or 200,000?
200,000. Sorry,
Okay, okay.
200,000. That's kind of like why we're considering it, and Yeah, so like we're paying rent, and so paying mortgage is like maybe $100, $200 more. It just makes sense. I think it makes sense to um, buy a home if we can manage it, like down payment and with interest rates right now, instead of like, yeah, adult stuff, right? Like you rather pay mortgage or equity into a mortgage than pay someone else's through rent. But yeah, I don't know. Like we had coworkers. I had coworkers, and Destiny has coworkers that actually have been able to buy a home with like, I don't know, almost no money down, like 5% down, and it's like new homes.
Yeah, what's 5% on $200,000 house?
Don't ask me to
What?
don't ask me to do math, man. 1% is 2,000.
So that's
So
10 grand.
yeah,
Is that hard to save in Virginia? I don't know. Well, it depends on the job market, I guess. But 10 grand doesn't sound like impossible. That's really attainable.
yeah. Um, so yeah, new homes for like that's like $300,000 new homes, $400,000 new homes with like, almost no money down, like not the typical 20%. They're like, oh yeah, we just like 4%, just how things are. I don't know if that's like typical of Virginia. So that's what we're going to look into, because that's the case. Like rent, mortgage, living in like a small 2-bedroom apartment. Um, whereas like, yeah, we were paying like $995 a month for this apartment. They upped it like $25, like starting this month. So,
Oh, break your wallet, bro.
but I'm like looking at like condos that are going for under 200, and Zillow does the estimated mortgage like $800. Like, okay,
Mm.
like if mortgage is
Mm.
going to be $800 and I'm paying more than that during rent, let's figure this out. So
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, it's a college town, so if we had to leave, just turn around into a rental.
Yeah, you have options for sure.
Yeah,
Like, it does sound more appealing and more better decision to make, considering all the financials and future plans, which that's ultimately what you're doing. It's a commitment to your thinking about the future.
yeah,
Cool.
so we'll see. The math might not add up and we'll just continue to rent here. That's fine, but I think just doing the due diligence, exploring is worthwhile, right? Save money, possible investment, future. So yeah, that's what's happening. That's like
Yeah.
a very
Just
long tangent on
yeah,
that.
in the last few years, we've kind of grown up, and this is the stuff that we think about now
Yeah.
with adulting.
Yeah. How about you? I think I've talked for a bit.
In the same kind of the same vein, like what would it take to move, and seeing other people like leaving my job. Yeah, so I'm also a UI designer, and I've seen a lot of people leave the area, and so it kind of sparks the idea like what would it take to leave, and what are the costs of moving somewhere far away, or like uprooting yourself to a new area, is just moving all your right that you've gone through it already. And I know that you were just throwing like truckloads, like dumpster containers full of stuff, like furniture and just things that accumulated over the years. I've been in this house for like 8-ish years, and I got kids. I got 2 kids, so they got a bunch of crap too. And maybe revisit the whole KonMari method, so the Marie Kondo, the not the joy of tidying up. What is that? The joy,
Isn't the art of
uh,
tidying up?
the life-changing magic of tidying up.
Oh,
That's the hard thing to remember. The life-changing magic. Well, you know what? It's a fitting title because we've done some KonMari method before to kind of clear up the house, but one step further, applying it to, yeah, what if we had to move? It's like, if I had to move, would I take this with me? Like, is this worth packing up, putting on a truck or a U-Haul and driving it somewhere like that? It's another application of it. And I'm just kind of looking around the house, like, if I were to move, would I take this book? Would I take this? I mean, these toys. I mean, are they going to play with it in 6 months when we move into the new place? Or is it even worth moving? So, and then you just kind of look at it and say thank you, and then do you throw in the donation pile? Yeah, or throw it away. It really depends what it is. Like, oh, it's crayons. Are they really going to use these? Thank you for being colorful, and then you toss in the trash. Yeah. Although now I'm thinking that you could melt them down and make really cool things with old crayons.
yeah. I was just about to say that, but then that's just another project that.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So now I made this cool like toy out of crayon wax. Now what? Okay. You think it again. Hey, thank you for bringing this cool material to build cool things out of. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not going to take you with me on this move. Yeah,
But the
it's fine.
skills that you like, gain from like that process, right?
Oh,
Still worth it. And
oh,
that's why you think that new object, right?
the new object that you made. Yeah, that is something
Yeah.
completely new. It's transformed.
Yeah.
It's transcended its crayon form.
Hmm.
Yeah, but that's also a trick of the hoarder mindset. Like, oh, I can still use this. I can still use this. I'm gonna keep it until I use it. And then what if you never get to it? It's tough, man. And that's why we have so much crap. Maybe we should move on to the next segment. Here's the shit.
You mean the next topic, like Industria Mechanica or
I was just gonna just
projects?
move on to
Okay,
projects. We're
projects.
calling this section the lab, where we share projects we got cooking up or what we're experimenting with. Oh, yeah, so we'll do like some title screen here.
Yeah, I dig it.
Okay, the lab. Oh, yeah, do you have any projects you got cooking up at the moment?
Yeah, so I'm working on a project that I've called Project Flying Bear.
Flying Bear. Okay.
Flying Bear, and that is want to make arcade furniture for my home. Yeah. So yeah, Project Flying Bear, trying to make an arcade for my home. It's been like a kind of long goal of mine of to make an arcade machine. And being a product designer, I wanted to kind of reimagine the arcade machine. And because like what we have now is an arcade that's been constrained, or the shape of it is because of constraints of what a cathode ray TV or screen, cathode tube. So it needs to be wide, like big chunky this way. And, you put a bunch of quarters in it. It was, at the bottom. So it's like I had a big base, chunky at the top. it's had to market itself of what game was playing on it. So, all these things have changed because you don't need an arcade um, to be that big because we have flat screen TVs. We have arcade machines that don't need to take quarters because it's going to be in my house and it's just going to do free play, right? Or, could be other forms of payment or whatever. Um, that's a further goal of like, how can I create the new arcade? But for, for right now, I'm just trying to make an arcade for my house. Um, and yeah, it doesn't need to like have like some awful, or I don't want to say awful, but like it doesn't need to market one game. It's going to be in my house. I know what's on it and I'm going to play it when I want to. It doesn't, I want it to look like a piece of furniture and not something that's belongs in, a pizza restaurant or bowling
Yeah,
alley.
I should argue like maybe you do want it to have that aesthetic, even though like the form is different, but the feel of it still feels like this is a cabinet of fun. It does, well, but it's up to you. Like if you want to fit your aesthetic that you've already got going on inside your home, so yeah, have it blended with all the furniture. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's up to you. Like if
Yeah.
you
I
need room,
mean, it's, I like when people like, buy arcade machines, retro arcade machines and put in their living room. It's kind of weird where like you have stuff from IKEA and then Donkey Kong, like full, full size like blue machine with like artwork on the side. And it's like, I don't know, it's like as if I am an adult and I had a race car bed, which is perfectly fine if that's who you are and that's what you want to do.
okay, the
It's just
adult
not
day would
me.
be like a Lamborghini, like black Lamborghini bed. But
Yeah,
that's
that yeah. I have a wife now, so she probably is not going to go for that. So compromises have to be made. Um, so yeah, making an arcade furniture, um, and so I've had to learn some Fusion 360, and I got a 3D printer, a Prusa Mini, and my whole process is to want it. Been as I learn 3D modeling out things and then printing them out. And so here's like my first 3D print of so every inch is a millimeter.
that's cool, man. So it's like a miniature concept, like prototype. Like if you put this in a miniature room, miniature version of your room, then this is the scale it would fit there.
Yeah. Um, so like my process is to model it, 3D print it, and kind of just like see it in 3D space. That's kind of like a prototype. And so like an example, I printed this out as a very like primitive form, see if I like the silhouette, right? Like um, this is like informed by just using a flat screen LCD, right? Here's a monitor, and maybe I put shelves down here, so that's why it's wide like that. I had issues trying to extrude shelves into here, so I didn't do it. But like I printed this out, and I would like just have it sit on my desk at work, and I would just kind of imagine like, oh, how would I improve this form? And so I went back to the drawing board, um, modeled and 3D printed this out. I learned how to fillet. So as you can see, I did some fillets.
So what is filleting? You just cut forms out of other forms?
Fillet is when you do like a roundy bit here.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Round of vertex is
Okay.
the term in Fusion 360. So, you know, um, yeah, so I sketched this profile out and extruded it this way to create this form. So I was like, well, this kind of looks too plain. So let's bring back the marquee, the like top marquee. See how that looks. Kind of like it. But this looks too futuristic. It looks like maybe in like 20, 30 years, this would be cool. Or like in like a clean, like sterile aesthetic, this would be cool. So I went back. I learned more skills in Fusion 360, and this is what I came up with. So this is the latest Mark IV design. And so yeah, I brought back the shelves. Um, brought in the like these edges, which are like kind of iconic to arcade machines, right? With the T molding,
Yeah.
covering
I
up
was
the
gonna say
MDF.
team molding.
Um, and yeah, and so from here, I haven't printed it out yet, but plan on editing this further, and like just like looking at this, thinking about it, feeling the shape. Decide I want to put my record player down here on a shelf and put my albums here, my limited collection of albums here in this shelf. And so I've tweaking the design there, and so I could hook it up to the speakers. So I plan to have nice speakers here for the arcade, and double up with my record player. And yeah, so it's like furniture. Yeah,
Multifunction. Yeah.
multifunctional, useful furniture. And by the way, I don't know if I've said this, so yeah, I'll be able to play on it, but when it's not doing anything, I plan for it to be to kind of show a dashboard, like like smart mirrors. People
Oh
are
yeah.
like, that was all the rage like 5 years ago. Yeah, it's not a mirror, just show like, yeah, temperature, what our schedules are. So that's yeah, that's what I've been working on. Project Flying Bear. And yeah, well, I don't know, still refining the design, and probably be updating y'all with that. And when I'm like set on the design, I plan to build it out of wood.
I don't think it's hard to make it now that you're like a Fusion 360 master and you have all the parts. You can explode out all the 3D model parts so that and you can print them out as plans so that you could make this out of plywood or MDF or whatever material you choose. But so I think this design is like it's looking slick, elegant, retro, but it's modern and multifunctional. It's useful. Yeah, I can't wait. I'm sure everyone can't wait to see a video of your build, bro. And you can go through that the exact same process of like design iterations. But man, pretty excited for you.
Yeah, a video will probably come once it's fully completed. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, we'll see. But I want to focus on making it instead of like documenting, or like, I don't know, getting stuck in like, how am I gonna film this? Maybe just like, here, I got all the parts now, so let's assemble it.
Maybe like you need to figure out like is this the right height? Like a way to prototype the actual real life sizes before you commit to getting like production materials. Like cardboard? You build it out of cardboard? Is that on the roadmap?
Building parts of it, so like the controller area, so maybe like this area, and is yeah, building that out of cardboard. That I think that's useful to get like ergonomics and layout of the controls, and test that out. Do like human, this is the buzzword, human factors analysis or research of it. And I don't know. I think it's from like a UI UX designer. Doing industrial design is interesting. Um, I don't know if, yeah, like industrial designers are like, you're an idiot. You should like, I don't know, get this like clay and like sculpt it or
or
just do
whatever.
something
Yeah.
else. Well, that's your process, bro. That's from a guy who like lives in sketch. This is what I'm gonna do. Yeah, make crappy little prototypes and stare at it until a deadline comes up and then make some decisions. How about you? Well, what's cooking in the lab for you?
Just getting into this peak state every morning. So I've got the dad cave creative studio garage thing. So that's my own space. It's detached from my house. I've been missing my voice, honestly. I used to use it all the time before, like back in college, back in Reims, like when we were still living in under the same roof, kind of thing, where I didn't care if I was too loud or not. I just was, and all of the ranges in between, from like whispering to yelling, and I just remember like cheering and yelling and being really high energy was really beneficial, like for your mood overall. And I kind of miss that in general. And if I am like that now for my kids, I know that they're going to be like that all the time, which I probably can't stand. But once in a while is good. Sometimes it's good, and when they are, I don't mind it. But if they're like that all the time, and I show them as an example, like I'm going to be like that all the time, then I'll probably drive myself, my wife, and my kids all the time, like really just crazy. And so I've been missing that. So now I carved out my place that's detached from the house. They don't, no one sees me. They could probably hear me from inside the other house, but I don't care at that point, because I'm not showing them deliberately, hey, I'm gonna go woo, yeah, awesome. Getting myself psyched up, pumped, because I'm now my voice is at like 110% volume, and I'm cheering, like I'm getting the, it's kind of like that facial feedback, like the feedback, haptic feedback of my voice, like resonating through my body. And I'm doing this in the morning as a way to jump start and kickstart my morning. I'm just super pumped up, and then I go hit some weights. So now I've got exercise, I've got some appreciation, some mindfulness, plus the high energy cheering, all knocked out in the very beginning of my day. And then I think it's shown that I have lots of momentum now in my speaking, my presenting. I have a lot more energy. My mood is a lot better throughout the day, and things are just kind of good. I've been doing this for a couple weeks now, and that's something that you all should try. And yeah.
Nice. Uh, I do miss that, like being part of that energy, man. That was inspiring for me when we lived together and in college and then after college. So I think I might try to, I don't know, see what I could do to amp myself up in maybe in my own space while I'm like commuting to work. Just like, go whoa. Um,
Yeah, if I was
yeah.
still commuting to the office, yeah, I would probably do it in the parking lot, or yeah, in the car on the way. Oh, maybe the car is like a little too small, because you're just like amplifying the sound into your own ears. But being in an open space and you're just trying to fill up that open space with your energy, yeah. Ooh. And so yeah, that's really what I'm kind of experimenting with.
Let's go. Um, Imagine Hammer.
Imagine Hammer. This is where we lay down the design hammer on various awesome or cringe design in fiction or oriented media. Okay, well, yeah, the thing I really want to talk about is the Loki, just the whole aesthetics, whatever they're doing on the Loki miniseries is freaking crazy. Like, from the trailers, you weren't quite sure what Loki is about, especially from the logo, because the logo just looks funky. Like all the letters look totally completely different. But once you watch the show, it makes sense. And that's sort of the beauty of just the Loki aesthetic and design is the origins of these different design motifs, and also incorporating that in the logo, and especially the animated logo when all the letters are changing. Yeah, it just kind of blew my mind and how much potential that Loki and the rest of the Phase 4 Marvel Cinematic Universe has at the moment. They kind of set it up in a way that's very clever, and has a lot of possibilities.
Yeah, I think just yeah, the opening crawl, or I don't know if it's opening, but the crawl of the Loki logo, um, like flipping through, um, it's kind of like a nice tease into the variants, um, like theme of, you know, get ready for like alligator Loki, for Hulk Loki, um, yeah, old Loki, kid Loki. Watching the trailer, like, oh, that's neat, that's novel. But at the end, you're like, oh, smart.
Indeed.
It's season 2. My God.
The idea of like Loki and the multiple timelines, multiverse potential, and that's really the direction they're going. And bridging the gap over to Star Wars, where they had Star Wars Legends. Once Disney bought Star Wars, then they made all the Star Wars material that's not in the movies non-canon, which is Star Wars Legends. But they've got Dave Filoni making a bunch of cool stuff, making some of the Legends material into canon. And so we can think of that way. There's different timelines or different universes that are now becoming canon. So it's like actual solidified lore. Going back to Loki, why not like any fan, like comics in itself, or the multiverse in itself is like fan fiction. It's like what if, or like the Disney's What If series. It's like, hey, uh, some Joe Schmo from in the middle of nowhere came up with this fan fiction, and it's so awesome. There's a potential that it can make it into its canon universe. Simple and elegant explanation to why there's all these different things, why there's multiple Lokis, why there's multiple Spider-Mans, multiverse, and then you can make your own version of Spider-Man in a fan fiction, or different ships. Like, what if different Spider-Mans from different universes got together? I don't know. That's the thing. Like, it opens up so many more possibilities.
So
And
sticky.
yeah, so sticky. Yeah, dude, and it's just like fan art and people remixing things. I think right now it's a really creative time, probably for artists, creators, potential like writers that want to get in the business. I think this is really exciting because now the industry is really embracing getting influence from comics, inspirations from fans as well.
Yeah, I've kind of had some thoughts on like that, and like the multiverse phase that we're in, um, and how that's going to affect casual consumption, right? Like, I don't know. I think we're starting to possibly get in the weeds of like, the person who doesn't watch all these series and is like, yeah, I just want to watch Shang-Chi because Asian. It's awesome. And like, they don't know what's going on. What's this multiverse? Why is there like, um, you know, why is there like 4 Spider-Mans and like make an appearance in this movie? Or why are they talking about like a timeline or things like that? Like, I could just see myself like, I get it, but like trying to explain it to my wife, who's just like, eh, too complicated. Once I like go, well, actually, you know, they both can exist, and you know, we got multiverse split because Loki, girl Loki, killed the dude, he who remains, and then I don't know, split open the multiverse, and now there's like a bajillion Lokis, and a bajillion Iron Mans, and Iron Man's back, because time is a loop, um, and is Kang's the he who remains like great 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 grandfather, which there is a fan theory on that, and I do like that. I do support that Kang is a descendant of Tony Stark.
Wait, Tony Stark? Oh, I thought it was Richards. I thought he was a Fantastic Family descendant.
We don't talk about Fantastic Four yet. It's like kind of like got sleeper, like you don't exist. Maybe in the multiverse, but well, like I think the fan theory was like Tony Stark is the preeminent like scientist of the time. We already figured out time travel with the Mobius strip, like in Endgame. And so who else is going to like dig that up? Like Tony did with his dad's arc reactor files, right? Little Morgan, Love You 3000, might have loved someone 4000. And then they, made babies. Yeah, like trying to explain all that, man. I think it's going to, I wonder how they're gonna like walk that tightrope.
Yeah, because every movie has to be its own self-contained story that can be digested for the filthy casual, so that they can still enjoy being dragged to the movies by their super nerdy, loved one, friends, or whatever. And so, yeah, all the TV series, they have to do the same thing, achieve the same like completeness as a story, and not, if you just ignored all the details, you can still enjoy it as for what it is. Enjoy like the the CGI barf, like all the action, shaky camera, whatever. Oh, music, oh, hot babes. Yeah, still enjoy it. Do you want to close out with any dark web media rabbit hole stuff? So that's our next segment. Going down the dark media rabbit hole, where we share weird stuff on the internet.
Yeah, Qua and I go down dark web rabbit holes all the time, whether it be YouTube, Wikipedia, Instagram, what have you. This segment is talking about our latest adventures. So my latest adventure has been city planning, urban design, and so this whole like wanting to move, buy a house, get out of this this current rental, kind of like spurred me to like what makes a good like city, like what is good. And you two recommended me like this one channel, Not Just Bikes, where this guy just talks about why Amsterdam is a great city, and how the Dutch are like top notch at city planning. They have infrastructure for cars, and it's separate from their infrastructure for like bikes and pedestrians, and how like designing a city around people is much better, right? You're not like making concessions for cars. Signs are people scale, so it's like much more enjoyable. Being able to like walk to the grocery store in Amsterdam seems much more pleasant than having to like, all right, here's an event, like going to Costco, going to Safeway, Kroger is such an event that we have to like do once a week. But if you just do it like on your way to work, as you walk to work, or walk back from, or as you bike from work, you just like load up here's, a couple of vegetables, some groceries, and to your bike or your bag. Boom, simple things like that. And like what makes a city good cities, like what makes them tick, right? So I've gone down this like rabbit hole. So not just bikes, and then City Beautiful is another YouTube channel. And shout out to City Beautiful. I think the guy teaches at Cal Poly Slow. So
Whoa, that's cool.
yeah, very serendipitous. I think he like studied in Berkeley, taught at Davis, and then is now working at Cal Poly Slow. So um, anyways, so I kind of enjoy um, like his explanations of like good like urban design, where he talks about urban design and how like cars are pretty much horrible, right? The way that we've like designed cities around cars, created these parking lots that do nothing most of the time. Like we've created these big like shopping malls, but like times like these where no one wants to drive anywhere, or things get delivered, or the economy's down, that's property. That's things that aren't making money, that are like doing more harm than good, and just like separate us out. And
Let's separate, like spread us out.
yeah,
Right.
spread us out, which are like, you know, um, these like suburbs that are being created, right, are meant for cars and not meant for like, if I was your neighbor, but like I was your backyard neighbor, like some of these suburbs, it'd take me, I had to like walk all the way around just to like go to your front door. That's like some cases that's 2 miles. Or if I wanted to like hop in a car and do that, um, it's like ludicrous, right? And so things like that. It's just been eye-opening of where I choose where I want to live next. And obviously I'm trying to live closer to downtown so I could walk and bike, and participate, in the community. So like, yeah, being in my car, which I'm not in my car as much as I was in the Bay Area, which is kind of like, my commute used to be 5 minutes when I was working here. In the Bay Area, it's like 40 minutes carpool, uh, carpool qua on a good day.
Yeah, there's so much traffic to go like 8 or 10 miles. It would take 45 to an hour.
Yeah.
It's getting worse. They're not getting worse, but it's getting bad again.
So as I was going down this like rabbit hole, I was just like it's crazy, because what I learned or what I enjoyed or like what I thought was good is like turned on its head. Like I'm like, this place doesn't have parking, it's trash. Well, actually, that's not really good. Like urban design, like having these parking lots and parking spaces that kind of restrict the good stuff in cities, like bike infrastructure and pedestrian infrastructure, um, and like just environments that um, allow people to or like that create good economic situations. So like walkable, bikeable communities, like businesses are actually patronized, right? Instead of like, if you're on like a busy street, um, you know, what they call stroads, which are like, streets, like say Lawrence Expressway. That's like a stroad, where it's like a whole like, thing just to like oh, okay, I need to pull in here to make a shop or to make, a stop. Um, there. I don't know. I'm rambling now, but
A little bit. Yeah, I understand. Yeah, there's wasted space like parking lots, and we built industries around cars, and so everyone has a car. Like there's a lot of money to there that's lobbied into infrastructure, and now that it's built, it's so hard to undo. Like just demolish everything, start ground up, redraw property lines to redesign cities with a new philosophy that's not quite so cars focused. And I don't know what we could do about it. Really, we know what is good, what's good for people, what's good for environment. But at the moment, these cities and burbs are all built around cars, and or at least the American economy largely depends on this industry as well, the car industry. So it's like this thing has so much momentum. Like how are we gonna as a culture, as a society, change change our outlook and change what we want. Like if the people want a change, then it will happen. But how do you make that change? How do you get people out of their cars and onto bikes? Yeah, there's this huge lifestyle shift and mindset that I don't know if a lot of people are ready to take, especially if their lifestyle already is really suits what they want. You know, if I want that big ass truck, um, I need a place to park it.
mhm.
So, yeah, I'm not gonna get rid of it. So what am I gonna do? Get on my bike? Just a completely total polar opposite.
Yeah, I think that's where like I don't know. I'm trying to figure out how do I like educate people around me on like what I thought was like you know um, good, right? Like having parking, street parking, ample street parking, things like that, car infrastructure, and yeah, educating people around me that actually um, that's not good. Urban design, and this is why you have healthier cities. When you don't build infrastructure around cars, right? And actual walkable and bikeable um, communities, like you could actually feel safe instead of like, yeah, having people with large trucks, like just driving through your community. Um, and like, having communities where you could walk with your family, your kids could play safely because, you're not going to be afraid that, cars are going to be zipping down like 50 miles per hour down a 25-mile residential because the road's not there, and things like that. I think that's a start of like, this is what we want. We want more walkable neighborhoods. We want pedestrian infrastructure. We want bike infrastructure in our cities. We don't want to build new freeways. We don't want to expand on freeways because that just increases traffic. Because once increase lanes on a freeway, on a highway, more people are going to want to take it. So it's just going to get worse, right? So yeah, kind of like getting that out there, change the perception of um, infrastructure. Like, what is good infrastructure? I think is the start, right? So people are like, yeah, no, I don't want expand 101, 280. That's garbage. I don't want that's just going to make it worse. Or let's turn this road into a pedestrian mall, and kind of start respecting bike infrastructure. Like a bike lane isn't good enough, because I want my kids to be able to, go outside, enjoy life, and not have to worry about getting like crushed under you know, a
Moving
Tesla.
car. Yeah. You can't,
A
which you can't
Tesla.
even hear, right? You can't even hear drive like past you. You don't even know that
Yeah.
you're in danger.
Yeah. So I don't know. So I think just talking about it starts, but education. If you're watching this,
I'm all for having less cars and using bikes more. And it's just overall it just sounds more healthy for you, your family, the environment, and our future. Even with the infrastructure that we have now, just using less cars would be overall just better. We don't have to get rid of cars. We just you just depend on them less.
mhm,
This remote work helps a lot too, so it cuts down the commuting. And well, I don't know. We'll get improvements. We won't completely be like on that Dutch model, like of being like public transportation and bike, um, having that bike lifestyle. But we'll get hopefully get somewhere in between. All right. I think one last thing I wanted to share was this robot magician guy because he's freaking cool. If you think of like magicians doing sleight of hands, this guy has built a robot to do the same thing, and so trying to figure out how a human would do these magic tricks versus now someone built a robot to do the same illusions is quite the puzzle. That's why I find it so joyous and like I don't know, just entertaining because it's a robot. How did someone make a robot do what a human would normally do in magic? So I'll put a link. I'll probably put a link in the show notes, or I'll show a clip right now. But I think that'll be good. Did you have a chance to check out the link I sent? Unless that, but it's in the show notes.
the robot magician.
Yeah,
No, I have not. But I think I watched it. Is like with a ball and then like is shooting it into his mouth. Is
something
that
like
the
that.
one?
Yeah, yeah. That's one of them. Like all these tricks are super fast, but quick clip up with no sound. Yeah, so good. And then I'll put the link in the show notes. Yeah, so Mario the Maker Magician, pretty pretty recent. I find it pretty inspiring. It's a maker, just like us,
Mhm.
just like you. Yeah.
I don't know. Does that kind of like break the suspension of like, or it's a robot, and so like a robot could do things that a human can't. So like, yeah, of course, like you know, you're using like motors and magnets and things like that. If you're using a robot, is it really
Yeah, well,
magic, or it's just like the ability is that the awe inspiring?
I think the
Like,
awe is you still have to design the robot to do all those things. You might have a new set of tools as you're watching the robot magician, do its thing. Like, just sort of like if you go to Siegfried and Roy magic show, you know that you're going to see some crazy illusions. Like, I expect to be fooled. Same thing uh, as someone who kind of knows behind the scenes of magic, plus that is a maker also trying to figure out like how did they make that, like how would I make this robot do that same illusion, and there's always a little bit of a twist, a little bit of a surprise. It's not quite as what you expected, and so that's where the joy comes from. Like I'm still fooled, still um, there's still that delight in being fooled and when you do see a magician or a magic show. So I mean, yeah, even like real people, not real people, like regular human magicians still use the same tricks like magnets and crazy light bending things, because it's all part of the illusion that you're still using tools, but now we've built a robot that uses tools to do the same thing. Yeah, I don't know. It's like another level of complexity of how do they achieve the same illusion. And it's also programmed too. Like someone had to go give the robot instructions of what to do, when to do it, and then you're also thinking about camera tricks because this format is video based, so there's a camera tricks element to it too. So I think it's a little complex. It's all part of I think the fun of this kind of format. This magic show. It's got eyebrows. It's got little straw eyebrows. It's pretty sweet.
I think that's key, right? To show expression. So,
but it's like a unibrow straw. I think it's like this. It's effective. It's super effective. A little janky, but it's effective. That's probably the charm of it too. Mario the Maker Magician. Just some good stuff. Yeah, that's part of my dark media rabbit hole. Okay,
nice.
I think we can call it there. How do you want to close this out?
Thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching.
I don't know.
Subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Hit the like button if you liked it. If you didn't, that's cool too. But as always, hit that bell if you want to join the notification squad. And I'm Qua.
And I'm Reims. Bromagic.
I'll work on this. Yeah. Thank you guys for watching, and see you guys next time.